After the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
Number 2, Dale Earnhardt, Kannapolis, North Carolina.
On a fateful day at the Daytona 500, racing legend Dale Earnhardt faced a crash so haunting, its details continue to send chills through motorsport fans worldwide. Beyond the roar of engines and flashing cameras lies a terrifying moment frozen in time. A collision that wasn't just a tragic accident, but a sequence of events nobody saw coming. What really happened in those final seconds? How did one of NASCAR's greatest icons meet his shocking fate? Join us as we uncover the bone-chilling truth behind Dale Earnhardt's unforgettable crash. Racing toward destiny. In the days leading up to the 2001 Daytona 500, the atmosphere was electric, buzzing with excitement and hope that could be felt by everyone around. Fans from all corners of the country poured into Daytona Beach, Florida, eagerly anticipating one of the most thrilling and celebrated events in the world of motorsports. The Daytona 500 wasn't just another race. It was a grand spectacle, a high-stakes battle of speed, skill, and courage, held at the iconic Daytona International Speedway. The thunderous roar of engines, the sharp smell of burning rubber, and the blur of sleek race cars speeding around the track all combined to promise a show full of unforgettable moments. Yet, beneath the bright lights, the cheers of thousands, and the festive atmosphere, there was a deeper story quietly unfolding, one filled with tension and meaning that would soon turn this race into something far more than just a contest. At the very center of this story was Dale Earnhardt, a name that was already legendary in NASCAR history. Known as the Intimidator, Dale was famous for his aggressive driving style, fierce determination, and his deep, unshakable love for racing. Despite carrying injuries that should have slowed him down, Dale was determined to take his place on the track that day. To him, the race wasn't just about winning a trophy. It was a test of his willpower, passion, and spirit. Dale was more than a competitor. He was a symbol of toughness and courage to millions of fans who admired his never-give-up attitude. In the days before the race, people close to Dale began to notice subtle but strange signs. His interviews carried an unusual tone, less confident, more thoughtful, almost as if he was quietly wrestling with something heavy on his mind. Those who watched him closely noticed changes in his behavior. The man who was usually calm and in control seemed slightly off, as if something wasn't quite right. The excitement in the air was tinged with an eerie feeling, a quiet tension that hinted something serious was looming just beneath the surface. These subtle warning signs created an uneasy mood among fans and insiders alike. Everyone was waiting, unknowingly, for a day that would shock the world of racing forever. The 2001 Daytona 500 was no longer just about speed or winning. It was about facing a moment that would challenge the hearts of fans, test the courage of drivers, and change the future of NASCAR forever. This race left a powerful legacy, one that continues to echo through the history of the sport and the memories of those who witnessed it. The 2001 Daytona 500 wasn't just a race. It was a moment that changed NASCAR forever. Dale Earnhardt's strength and passion still inspire fans today. But was his death preventable? Could safety steps have saved him? Let's uncover the truth behind the heartbreak. A legacy built on loss. Beneath the roaring engines and flashing lights of NASCAR races, there was a quiet but fierce struggle taking place, one that revolved around something far less visible than speed or skill: safety. At the center of this hidden battle was a simple but life-saving device called the HANS, or Head and Neck Support Device. Made from strong, lightweight carbon fiber, the HANS was designed to protect drivers from deadly head and neck injuries, the kind that could, and did, end careers and lives in an instant. But despite its potential to save countless drivers, the HANS device faced resistance, skepticism, and deeply rooted traditions that made its adoption slow and painful. Dale Earnhardt, one of the most famous and fearless drivers in NASCAR history, became a symbol of this battle. Known for his tough, no-nonsense style both on and off the track, Earnhardt was reluctant to wear the HANS device. His refusal wasn't simply stubbornness. It reflected a larger culture in racing that prized bravery, toughness, and a certain old-school way of doing things. Many drivers felt that such equipment was uncomfortable, unnecessary, or even a sign of weakness. This attitude, combined with Earnhardt's legendary competitive spirit, meant he chose to race without the very protection that might have saved him. Behind the scenes, there were heroes quietly pushing for change. Safety pioneers, engineers, and doctors worked tirelessly to improve driver protection. They designed, tested, and promoted devices like the HANS, hoping to convince teams, drivers, and NASCAR officials to prioritize safety over tradition. Their efforts often met with resistance, ranging from doubts about the technology to concerns over comfort and freedom of movement. Sadly, a mix of old traditions, pride, and hesitation led to a heartbreaking tragedy. Dale Earnhardt's deadly crash at the 2001 Daytona 500 shocked the entire racing world and showed just how dangerous it was to resist new safety ideas. His passing wasn't just a loss, it was a harsh warning that things had to change. This heartbreaking moment pushed NASCAR and the entire racing community to take safety more seriously than ever before. From that day on, new rules and better safety gear were quickly adopted, saving countless lives and forever changing the sport. This story isn't just about one device or one driver, it's about a sport at a crossroads, where progress and pride clashed, and where the loss of a legend forever changed the path forward. The fight over the HANS device reveals the delicate balance between speed and safety, tradition and innovation, and reminds us all of the human lives at stake behind every thrilling lap on the track. Dale Earnhardt's tragic death was more than a loss. It marked a turning point that forever changed NASCAR. The HANS device, once resisted, swiftly became a life-saving standard. But before the heartbreak, there was the rise. Now, let's uncover the untold story of Dale Earnhardt's path to NASCAR greatness. Born to race. Dale Earnhardt, famously known as Dale Earnhardt Sr., was born Ralph Dale Earnhardt on April 29, 1951, in the small town of Kannapolis, North Carolina. From the very start, Dale's life was closely tied to racing. His father, Ralph Earnhardt, was not just a skilled race car driver, but also a respected mechanic who understood cars inside and out. His mother, Martha, worked hard too, balancing jobs as a waiter and a clerk at a children's store. Together, they raised 5 children: daughters Kay and Kathy, and sons Dale, Randy, and Danny. Dale's passion for cars grew strong early on, inspired by his father's racing legacy. He was drawn to the roar of engines and the thrill of speed. Deciding to follow his dreams, Dale left school after the 9th grade and tried out various jobs, all while chasing the goal of becoming a professional stock car racer. Sadly, his father, Ralph, never got to witness Dale's rise to fame. He passed away from a heart attack in 1973, 2 years before Dale made his professional NASCAR debut. In May 1975, Dale Earnhardt took his first real step into the spotlight, racing in the World 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Though he finished 22nd, right in the middle of the pack, was just the beginning of a remarkable career. Over the next few years, Dale's talent on the track caught the eye of Rod Osterlund, a racing sponsor from California. In 1979, Earnhardt was signed to his first full-time Winston Cup contract. That year was a breakthrough. He scored his first NASCAR win at the Southeastern 500 in Bristol, Tennessee. By season's end, Earnhardt had earned more than $200,000, unheard of for a rookie, and was honored with NASCAR's coveted Rookie of the Year award. The following year, Dale's career skyrocketed. He edged out veteran racer Cale Yarborough to win his first Winston Cup championship, becoming the first driver to win Rookie of the Year and the season's championship in consecutive years. Around this time, he also started his team, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, marking a new chapter in his career. In 1981, after Osterland sold his team, Earnhardt joined Richard Childress, a former driver turned team owner. He briefly raced for Bud Moore's team but reunited with Childress in 1983, a partnership that would prove golden. By 1985, Earnhardt had won 4 races, followed by 5 victories and his second Winston Cup championship in 1986. His peak came in 1987, dominating with 11 wins and a 3rd championship, finishing in the top 5 in 21 out of 29 races. Earnhardt's aggressive driving earned him nicknames like Ironhead and the Intimidator. Known for forcefully nudging opponents to claim the lead, his rough style often sparked controversy. However, after a warning from NASCAR's president in 1987, he toned down his tactics, fostering better relationships with fellow drivers and cementing his legacy as one of racing's most formidable yet respected champions. Dale Earnhardt rose from a small-town boy to a NASCAR legend through passion and courage. His fearless racing inspired many, leaving a lasting legacy beyond wins. Now let's explore the dramatic final moments of his unforgettable race at Daytona. Speed, courage, and tragedy. As the race neared its final laps, the air at Daytona was electric with excitement and tension. The roar of the crowd grew louder with every turn, each second charged with the kind of energy only a high-stakes NASCAR race could deliver. Fans held their breath, eyes glued to the track, as Dale Earnhardt, known for his fearless driving, took command. This was no ordinary moment. Dale wasn't just racing for himself. He was fiercely protecting his team and his son, who was also on the track chasing victory. With nerves of steel, Earnhardt used bold and daring blocking moves to keep his rivals at bay. He pushed his car hard, sliding it sideways and weaving through the pack, refusing to give up a single inch. The crowd erupted with cheers, caught up in the drama and the sheer bravery on display. Every car behind him was fighting to get ahead, but Dale's presence was like a wall that few could break through. Beneath all the excitement, there was a quiet but growing tension. In NASCAR, where cars race at nearly 200 miles per hour, the difference between control and disaster is unbelievably small. Every driver knows that one tiny mistake could mean a crash. The atmosphere on the track was heavy with pressure. Each racer wasn't just chasing victory but fighting to stay safe. In those final heart-stopping moments, everything felt urgent and fragile, as if the whole race could change in the blink of an eye. The danger was real, and every second counted. Then, in a flash, the unimaginable happened. A massive crash unfolded right before the eyes of millions watching from home. But the full horror of it wasn't immediately clear. Cars smashed and spun out of control, metal collided with metal, and the noise was deafening. The fear and shock rippled through the crowd as fans realized that something terrible had just taken place. That crash wasn't just an accident. It was a life-or-death moment that changed the course of the race and the sport forever. In mere milliseconds, years of racing skill, passion, and rivalry came to a sudden and tragic halt. It was a stark reminder that behind the thrilling speed and competition of NASCAR lies a dangerous reality, where split-second decisions can mean the difference between victory and tragedy. This race was more than just a test of speed. It was a powerful story of courage, protection, and the unpredictable nature of racing. Dale Earnhardt's final laps showed the heart of a champion fighting for more than just a trophy. He was fighting for his family, his team, and the spirit of the sport itself. And for those who watched, that day would forever be etched in their memories, not just as a race, but as a moment when life and death raced side by side on the asphalt. In his final moments, Dale Earnhardt displayed remarkable courage and determination. The crash stunned the racing world and revealed the harsh risks of the sport. How did people react to this harsh reality? Let's find out. The crash that silenced a legend. The moment that changed NASCAR forever happened in the blink of an eye, yet its effects are still felt today. Dale Earnhardt's fatal crash during the 2001 Daytona 500 was more than just a tragic accident. It was a heartbreaking event that shook the entire racing world. To truly grasp the depth of what occurred, We need to look past the loud engines and excited fans. We must focus on the terrifying science behind the crash, the incredible forces that smashed through Dale's car and body in less than a tenth of a second. It was a sudden, powerful impact that no one could have imagined, forever changing how people see the dangers of racing. This tragic moment opened eyes and hearts, leading to new safety measures aimed at protecting drivers from harm in the future. In less than a blink, just 80 milliseconds, Dale's car crashed into the outside wall at almost full speed. The force of the hit was terrifying. The safety gear meant to keep him safe didn't hold up completely. His seatbelt and other protective equipment failed or broke at the worst moment. The violent crash caused terrible injuries that no one could have foreseen. These crucial moments were not captured on camera, but will stay in the memories of NASCAR fans forever. It was a heartbreaking instant that changed the sport and left a lasting shadow. The crash sent shockwaves through the track. As the dust settled, emergency medics rushed to the scene, their faces showing the urgency and fear they felt inside. They fought desperately to save Earnhardt's life, working with everything they had, but the damage was too severe. The heartbreak spread beyond the track to Dale's family, friends, and millions of fans around the world who had admired the man known as the Intimidator. Their grief was deep and raw, a powerful reminder of how fragile life can be, even for the strongest of heroes. The news of Earnhardt's death swept through the racing community like a storm. It wasn't just about losing a driver. It was about losing a legend, a symbol of courage, passion, and the fierce spirit of NASCAR. Suddenly, the sport was forced to face a harsh truth: the need for better safety. Earnhardt's crash became a wake-up call that led to major changes in how drivers were protected on the track. His death marked the beginning of a new era, where safety would take center stage, saving countless lives in the years to come. This story blends sadness with hope, a powerful reminder that the toughest moments can bring the biggest changes. Dale Earnhardt's last crash was more than just a terrible accident. It marked a turning point for NASCAR. It revealed the real dangers drivers faced and how safety technology wasn't enough. This tragic event pushed the sport to change quickly, making racing safer for everyone. Though we lost a legend that day, Dale's fearless spirit continues to inspire drivers and fans alike, encouraging them to race with passion, courage, and a commitment to safety that honors his lasting legacy. Dale Earnhardt's tragic crash was more than just a heartbreaking loss. It was a turning point that changed NASCAR forever. It exposed the real dangers of the sport and sparked urgent safety reforms. Now, let's delve into how Dale's death transformed NASCAR's approach to safety. Saving lives at full speed. The world of NASCAR was forever changed by the tragic loss of one of its greatest champions, Dale Earnhardt. His sudden and shocking death during the 2001 Daytona 500 sent waves of grief through the racing community and fans worldwide. But beyond the sadness, this heartbreaking moment became a powerful wake-up call that forced NASCAR to face the dangers of the sport head-on. What followed was a complete transformation, a safety revolution that changed the way racing was done and saved countless lives. Before Earnhardt's death, many drivers and teams had resisted new safety measures. There was a strong culture in NASCAR that valued bravery and toughness, sometimes at the expense of safety. Drivers often saw safety gear as uncomfortable or unnecessary, and the idea of slowing down the sport's excitement with extra precautions was unpopular. But when tragedy struck so suddenly and so publicly, it became impossible to ignore the risks. One of the most important changes was the introduction of mandatory safety devices like the HANS device, the head and neck support system. Made from lightweight carbon fiber, the HANS device was designed to protect drivers from the kind of deadly neck and head injuries that had ended careers and lives before. Though Dale Earnhardt himself had been reluctant to wear it, his death made the HANS device standard equipment for all drivers. Today, it is seen as a lifesaver and a must-have on the track. Car design also underwent major improvements. Engineers and safety experts worked closely with NASCAR to create stronger, safer cars that could better protect drivers during crashes. These changes included reinforced frames, better seatbelts, and improved helmets. Additionally, racetracks themselves were upgraded. The walls, once solid concrete, were replaced with safer barriers, special cushioned walls that absorb impact and reduce the force of crashes. These changes were not just technical upgrades, they were the result of a community coming together, driven by the desire to honor Earnhardt's memory and protect those who race. Families of drivers, safety experts, team owners, and officials all pushed for a new era of safety. Their efforts meant that the heartbreak of losing a beloved champion was transformed into hope for the future. Dale Earnhardt's final painful gift to NASCAR was this lasting legacy, a commitment to safety that continues to save lives on every track around the world. His death sparked a movement that changed racing forever, making the sport safer without taking away its thrilling spirit. Today, when drivers race at full speed, they do so with better protection, all thanks to the lessons learned from that tragic day. Earnhardt's name is remembered not just for his victories and fierce driving, but also for inspiring a revolution that made NASCAR a safer place. His story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, change is possible, and progress can come from loss. This legacy lives on, protecting future champions and keeping the spirit of racing alive for generations to come. So, what do you think about the details of Dale Earnhardt's crash? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.